Happy February 16th. JLD here, and welcome to Strategy Today. In this show, we talk about Strike. How's it doing? We talk about banks taking custody of Bitcoin and what that means. Punter Jeff talks about MSTR being this coiled spring and gives some details about that. Adam talks about Strategy's inevitable victory. And then Michael Saylor breaks down rule number 4 of Bitcoin and so much more. I want to make a quick retraction from yesterday's video. I said February 16th yesterday when it was really February 15th. A lot of you called me out in the comments. So I just love that because it means you're watching, you're listening, you're paying attention. So I apologize for saying the wrong date. Yesterday was February 15th. Today is February 16th. This video is not financial advice, and I would appreciate comments below, like the one yesterday. Make my video better by giving your thoughts, your criticisms, your concerns. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments below, and let's dive on in. All right, let's start by diving into a post from Michael Saylor himself. In the initial 2 weeks of trading, Strike is the best performing and most liquid perpetual preferred security. And then he has 2 graphs down here, the price performance of Strike versus all perpetual preferred offerings since 2022. So over the last 3 years, you can see that the first trade date was 1.3, the first week was 8%, and the first 2 weeks was 17.6% compared to the others. It's not even close. Michael Saylor is just continuing to dominate in whatever he does. Strategy, MSTR, it's so exciting to be a part of this train. The average USD face value trading of volume of Strike versus all perpetual preferred offerings since 2022 is the same story. A Strike is just outperforming at just huge levels across the way. Here's a 5x. This is like another 5x. And then this even starting to move into a 10x of the others, which is amazing to see. So congratulations to the Strategy team. You've done it once again. And by the way, that means all good things for MSTR holders for sure. Let's talk about Bitcoin overflow sharing. By the end of the Trump administration, every major US bank will offer Bitcoin custody and brokerage services. Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, this is just an unbelievable revelation when you sit down and think about where we were 1 year ago, especially 2 years ago, but even just 1 year ago. The headwinds against all things Bitcoin and all things crypto, now they're all tailwinds, and it's unbelievably exciting. And this is such a major game changer. Michael Saylor's been talking about this for 5 years now, that this is one of the major things that needs to happen for Bitcoin to just absolutely explode. And now it's happening. Let's talk about Punter Jeff's great post. We're going to skip this top part because it's in the graph below, which I'll share in a second, and go to the takeaways. MSTR is more deleveraged today than ever before, in a stronger financial position than ever before. 2, despite MSTR's largest single convertible debt issuance in November of 2024, $3 billion at 0% with a $672 conversion price, the leverage ratios are lower than ever, thanks to strategic use of ATM adding permanent Bitcoin to balance sheets. 3, while many were calling for MSTR bankruptcy in November of 2022 due to over leverage, the balance sheet was under 100% leverage ratio, and the debt was over collateralized by the assets, not underwater. 4, the reduced leverage has likely resulted in lower volatility and MNAV in the near term, as without leverage, the equity is more similar to an ETF. 5, less leverage equals less risk equals less potential excess return over BTC. More leverage equals more risk equals more potential excess return over BTC. So to sum this part up, once Michael Saylor starts issuing these convertible bonds in mass, we're going to be leveraging up this leverage, which is more risk, but it's also more potential excess return over Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up 1%, MSTR is going to go up a lot more percent. Considering most Bitcoin holders operate under the assumption of it's going up forever, Laura, the additional risk of long-term duration debt is very palatable, assuming debt duration, which is the debt ladder, and leverage ratios are managed prudently. which, by the way, Saylor and MSTR are doing incredibly well. Next steps are comparing against other variables, working with Lizard Wizard BTC, that's Radu, to fold this into the MSTR tracker to compare against MNAV, PE, SATs slash share, etc. The coiled spring looks very compressed. Keep an eye out for large late Feb, early March convertible debts, straight debt issuances. And then here's the two charts that I will go ahead and put this link in the show notes page. If you want to come and check these out, you can click on these, maximize them out, and really kind of study what Jeff is talking about in this post. I wanted to share this from Dan Hillary. It takes time, but everyone is right. The rate of technological progress is increasing. And the last sentence has a couple typos, so I'm just going to edit it up right here and say an MSTR's CAGR, CAGR, compound annual growth rate over the next 10 years will make most other investments look like child's play. And then, of course, I posted immediately, most with a little wink, because I personally think it's going to make all other investments look like child's play. Let's dive into this next post from Adam. Strategy is the first Übermensch corporation. Nietzsche wrote that the Übermensch, overman, is the being that transcends the limitations of weak men and imposes his own will upon reality. That's exactly what MSTR has done. While other corporations chase fiat gains, MSTR builds an empire on absolute monetary scarcity. While CEOs chase quarterly earnings, Saylor plays the long game, measured in halvings, not quarters. While governments print, dilute, and destroy, MSTR accumulates, strengthens, and hardens. Saylor is the ultimate Bitcoin philosopher warrior, rejecting the herd morality of fiat capitalism and embracing the will to power through absolute financial sovereignty. MSTR has rejected the old gods of fiat and declared itself free. And since Adam's on a roll, let's just dive into MSTR's inevitable victory. Companies that wait will get priced out. MSTR will be revalued as the first corporate Bitcoin central bank. The moment will come when sovereign nations start making bids for corporate Bitcoin holdings, and MSTR's Bitcoin will be untouchable. The companies that bought in late will beg for liquidity. They'll plead for a chance to own what Saylor has secured years ago, but MSTR, they'll name their price. They'll dictate the terms. They'll sit atop the new financial order, untouchable and unstoppable. And Wall Street will finally understand what they missed. The final phase has already begun. Bitcoin adoption isn't linear, it's exponential. MSTR has already crossed the event horizon. Every day, every block, every halving, the squeeze tightens. The game theory is playing out exactly as Saylor predicted. And the final Bitcoin buyers will learn the hardest lesson of all. You either buy now or you beg later. And Stack Hodler will take us home. Long-term holders continue to cough up loads of coins to institutions, corporations, and sovereign wealth funds around $100,000. But the majority of the world is still ridiculously underexposed to Bitcoin. They're all coming for your stack, and they will use every trick at their disposal to make you sell. 400 million from Abu Dhabi is just a drop in the bucket. The global bidding war has just begun. And now it's time for Michael Saylor to break down rule number 4 of Bitcoin. So, Michael, take it away.
Rule number 4. Bitcoin's powered by chaos. When you take your money and you put it in a bank and you save it in a fiat currency, you're loaning your money to a country. When you take your money and you buy a stock, you're loaning your money to the management team of a company. When you take your money and you buy a building, you're loaning your money to the mayor of a city. When you take your money and you buy a piece of art, you're loaning your money and investing your money in a culture. When you actually buy Bitcoin, you're loaning your money to the lords of entropy. You're loaning your money to the gods of chaos. What's the bet? The bet is that chaos will outperform cities, companies, countries, cultures. It's a profound idea. I place you in Europe before World War II. I give you a lot of money, and I give you a choice. You can buy any piece of land in any country. You can buy any building. You can own any company in Europe. You can own art in Europe. You can invest in the currencies and the bonds of Europe. Imagine I give you a choice of buying any asset in any nation that's about to be a combatant in World War II, or you can own the one bank in Switzerland that's going to hold all the money of all the combatants. And you see, if you own that Swiss bank and everybody puts their money in the bank and the war comes, chaos comes. And the war is a metaphor for chaos and entropy accelerated in 4 years. What you realize is every building is risky. It may be blown up. Every company will probably collapse. Any piece of land may or may not have value. The rents and the rental contracts will probably be torn up. The currencies will all collapse. And in fact, the more chaos, the more destruction and devastation, the more valuable that one bank. In fact, if everybody puts their money in the bank and they all kill each other, the bank keeps the money. And it's a very profound idea. Are you in the business of benefiting from chaos, or are you in the business of attempting to stop it? And the law of thermodynamics says you can't stop entropy, right? The more confused a government is, the more inefficient the mayor is, the more inefficient and competitive a corporation's market environment is, the more chaos and the more change in the culture, the worse all those other investments are, and the better the Bitcoin investment is. Bitcoin is powered by chaos. It's going to continually outperform everything else because the one truth in the universe is that entropy goes in one direction, chaos will continue.
And there you have it, another episode of Strategy Today. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you got value, please comment below. Let me know where you're watching from, any thoughts that you might be having. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share. We work so hard in these videos for you, and those small gestures go a long way. And this video is not financial advice at all. And I do want to give a highlight on this Sunday to my Master MicroStrategy series, which of course is now moving into Master Strategy series. I did some videos that are more in the evergreen type of things, where I think you should definitely check them out if you haven't watched some of these yet, if they are of interest. One of them is MSTR. You should sell MicroStrategy if ... And then we have another one about MSTR versus MSTY versus MSTX versus MSTU. I have a lot of people always asking about, like, if you believe in MSTR so much, why not MSTU, et cetera? And there's reasons why, and I get into details about that in this video, as well as MSTY is a very interesting dividend play. So you can learn more about it in this video as well. This is an epic 1 hour and 13 minutes presentation I did on mastering strategy. This is a complete walkthrough of, well, this is actually an interview that I did with Radu, who's the creator of the MSTR-tracker.com. It's an awesome conversation that we have going through the tracker. You will learn a lot about MSTR throughout that one. And then how I DCA into MSTR every single day. I DCA $210 every single day into MSTR. And I show my portfolio on Saturdays, and every weekday I post the receipt of that. But I talk about how I do that because a lot of people are saying, well, how are you doing not a full share? Well, we get into it here. And then this is a 1 hour and 48 minutes complete history of MSTR, a complete history of MSTR. So if you have some time and you want to learn more about strategy and MicroStrategy going back to 1989, this is the video for you. So please enjoy. Please remember that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. I'm grateful you chose me for a portion of your day today. And as Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.